Your body on empty. The weird, wonderful, and surprisingly scientific world of intermittent fasting. Spoiler, your cells throw a party when you skip breakfast. The roadmap. 1. What actually happens when you stop eating? 2. Your cell's hidden cleanup crew. What the numbers actually say. 4. Choosing your fasting flavor. 5. The stuff nobody warns you about. 6. Should you try this? 2. The magic number 12. All right, here's where it gets interesting. You know that foggy, hangry feeling when you skip a meal? That's actually your body throwing a tiny tantrum because it's running out of its favorite easy fuel, glucose. But here's the twist. Around the 12-hour mark, your liver glycogen stores are basically empty, and your body has to make a grown-up decision. It switches to burning fat. This is called the metabolic switch, and it's not some Silicon Valley biohack. It's literally how our hunter-gatherer ancestors survived between mammoth hunts. The cool part? This switch is hardwired into every single one of us. We've just been overriding it with constant snacking. Now let's talk about the real star of the show, autophagy. It's a Greek word that literally means self-eating, which sounds horrifying, but is actually brilliant. Think of it as your cell's spring cleaning service. When you fast, a pathway called mTOR, that's the guy who's always shouting, grow, 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 finally shuts up for a minute. And once mTOR quiets down, your cells go into housekeeping mode. They sweep up damaged proteins, recycle broken mitochondria, and basically take out the metabolic trash. This is why autophagy is linked to slower aging and lower inflammation. Your cells literally clean themselves when you give them the time to do it. The catch? Constant eating keeps mTOR active and autophagy permanently paused. The receipts. Okay, enough theory. What do actual humans report? In a large cross-sectional study published in the Medical Science Monitor, over a third of people who tried intermittent fasting said their health status was better afterward. Not slightly less terrible, actually better. And here's the kicker. Another 22.7% rated their health as excellent. So combined, nearly 6 out of 10 people felt meaningfully healthier. That's not a placebo, that's a pattern. And there's always but let's keep going because the same study has some sobering numbers too, which we'll get to in a bit. Let's put a few more numbers on the board. Nearly 23% said their health was excellent after IF. And here's one that surprises a lot of people. 42.7% said their hunger levels didn't actually change. They expected to be ravenous, but their body adapted. On the weight front, about 9.4% shed a significant 5 to nearly 10 kilos. But notice, not everyone lost weight. Some people stayed the same, and a small group even gained. This isn't a magic bullet. It's a tool, and like any tool, results depend on how you use it. Let's look at the full weight loss breakdown next. Here it is in bar chart form, warts and all. The biggest single group at 19.2% reported no weight loss at all. Intermittent fasting didn't budge the scale for them. About 11.5% lost less than 2 kilos, a modest drop. At the more dramatic end, 9.4% lost between 5 and nearly 10 kilos, which is a genuinely meaningful amount. But look at that last bar. 9.7% actually gained weight. How? Probably because they overcompensated during eating windows. The I fasted for 16 hours, so I deserve this entire pizza phenomenon. The takeaway? IF isn't a metabolic cheat code. Calories still count. The fasting window helps, but what you eat in the eating window matters just as much. So you're intrigued and maybe want to try this. Which schedule fits your life? The 16 at 8 is the poster child of intermittent fasting. 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating. Most people just skip breakfast, eat from noon to 8 p.m. and call it a day. It's popular for a reason. You still get dinner with friends and your body gets a solid fasting window. On the other side, the 5-2 approach lets you eat normally 5 days a week and then 2 days you drop to 500 to 600 calories. Sounds gentler, right? Well, those 2 low-calorie days can feel like an eternity. Studies show high dropout rates because constant hunger is, surprise, surprise, really hard to sustain. Pick the one that fits your actual life, not your aspirational Pinterest life. Picture this. You've just completed your first 16-hour fast. You feel virtuous, you feel disciplined, and then you absolutely inhale a giant bagel with extra cream cheese in under 90 seconds. Please don't do this. Your digestive system has been essentially hibernating, and the first thing you put in should be kind to it. Think protein and healthy fats, eggs, avocado, maybe some Greek yogurt with berries. Drink water first, not coffee. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. These electrolytes get depleted during fasting, and you'll feel crummy without them. The research from meal plan studies consistently shows that people who break their fasts mindfully stick with the program much longer than those who treat the eating window like an all-you-can-eat buffet. 11. The fine print. All right, time for the part influencers conveniently skip. In that same large study, 18% of intermittent fasters reported decreased energy levels. 17.7% experienced hunger and dizziness. These aren't rare edge cases. Roughly 1 in 5 people feel pretty lousy, especially during the adaptation phase in the first 2 weeks. And then there's the mental health angle. The Emily program, which specializes in eating disorders, has raised serious red flags. Intermittent fasting can reinforce harmful diet culture messaging that equates thinness with health. If you have any history of disordered eating, this is not your path. Full stop. Even for healthy individuals, doing IF recklessly, like combining it with intense calorie restriction, can lead to malnutrition and hypoglycemia. This isn't just pushing through discomfort. This is your body sending distress signals. I want to leave you with this quote because it captures where the actual science sits right now. Not the hype, not the fear-mongering, but the honest middle ground. A major 2024 review in the medical literature essentially said, look, we know eating too much all the time is bad, but that doesn't automatically mean eating almost nothing is good. The pendulum between constant eating and extreme fasting shouldn't swing so hard that it breaks. There's real promise in intermittent fasting, the autophagy, the insulin sensitivity improvements, the metabolic flexibility, but we're still learning who it works best for, at what intensity, and for how long. Humility in the face of incomplete evidence is the most scientific stance you can take. And here's the thing I hope you take home today. Your body isn't broken. It already knows how to fast. It's been doing it for roughly 300,000 years of human history. We're the first generation in that entire timeline that eats from the moment we wake up until the moment we sleep. Intermittent fasting isn't really a diet in the modern sense. It's more like giving your body permission to do a maintenance routine it's been trying to schedule for decades. Try it if you're curious. Start with 12 hours, just 12. Skip the late-night snack, delay breakfast by an hour, and see how you feel. Listen to your body more than you listen to Instagram. And if it's not for you, cool. There are 100 other ways to be healthy. The science is still unfolding, and you get to be part of the experiment called your own life. Thanks for hanging out with me today.